Supreme Court of Pakistan. 1. The law of approver and criminal conspiracies admittedly against the injunctions of Islam, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, on the occasion of Hijjatul Wada, pronounced, "Beware, every culprit is responsible for offense committed by him. Beware, the father is not responsible for the offense committed by his son, nor son is answerable for the offense committed by his father." Admittedly, absence of the accused from the scene of occurrence could not at all constitute personal liability. 2. Earlier, no accused had been convicted and sentenced to death solely on the testimony of an approver. The Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan has again disapproved the testimony of an approver in the case of Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif versus State, PLD 2009, Supreme Court 814, and the law continues to be volatile. The testimony of the approver fails to satisfy both the tests in that he is neither reliable nor his testimony is corroborated in material particulars. 3. Intricate questions of public importance are involved in the matter. None is above accountability in Islam, and more so a qazi. Determination of the question of accountability, or at least a correction of error, amounts to introspective accountability. The democratic system of a country is dependent on the functioning of political parties. Leaders of political parties are repository of public trust and confidence. Their iconic image is an inspirational and motivational force for the followers. In the case of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, this goes without saying that he was the leader who inspired generations. His charismatic leadership remains a role model for the toiling millions of Pakistan and the third world, and his appeal for downtrodden is transcending through an annals of history. His totally illegal death sentence and his execution at the hand of tyrant dictators with the help of hand-picked judges is a black spot on the democratic face of Pakistan. 4. Whether the Supreme Court was acting within four corners of law while deciding the appeal by a bench, which was not duly constituted after the absence of two honorable members, namely Mr. Justice Wahiduddin Ahmed, who was shown sick, and the bench chose to proceed in his absence, notwithstanding the fact that he was desirous to join the proceedings, and Mr. Justice Kaisar Khan retired during proceedings. The Honorable Court was legally and morally duty-bound to fill the vacancies. 5. In the case in hand, bias in the minds of judges was floating on the face of the record. A bias in the mind of judge results in vitiation of the proceedings. In the celebrated judgment reported as Asif Ali Zardari and another versus the state, PLD 2001, Supreme Court 568, while dilating upon bias, the Honorable Apex Court held as follows, as under C. A judge may have a personal bias towards a party owing to relationship and the like, or he may be personally hostile to a party as a result of events happening either before or during the trial. Whenever there is any allegation of personal bias, the question which should be satisfied is there in the mind of the litigant a reasonable apprehension that he would not get a fair trial? The est is where there is a real likelihood of prejudice, but it does not require certainty. Real likelihood is the apprehension of a reasonable man apprised of the facts and not the suspicion of fools or capricious persons. 6. Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto bitterly complained before the Supreme Court that he had not been given a fair trial in the High Court. As its presiding judge, Mr. Justice Mushtaq Hussain, Chief Justice of the Lahore High Court, and also because the Central Executive Committee of the Pakistan People's Party, presided over by appellant, had joined issue with him in respect of statements made by him, Mr. Justice Mushtaq Hussain, within brackets, in his capacity as Chief Election Commissioner in August 1977. 7. He strongly criticized the observations made by High Court in para 609 to 616 of its judgment, describing him as a Muslim only by name and not living up to ideas or conduct prescribed for Muslim rulers of Islam. Mr. Bhutto stated that this criticism was unjustified and was clear evidence of bias against him. 8. The conduct of the members of the bench holding the trial as well as deciding the appeal is fully demonstrative of bias. Mr. Justice Maulvi Mushtaq Hussain, the then
where is this said? Paragraph 609 to 616?
My Lord, this is in the Lahore High Court judgment, the trial court's judgment.
And the citation is?
My Lord, the citation is PLD 1978.
PLD 1978?
Lahore.
Lahore. Page?
Just bear with me, man. 1978, Lahore, page 523, sir.
523?
523. This was a 5-member bench of the Lahore High Court which was conducting the trial. 8. The conduct of the members of the bench holding the trial as well as deciding the appeal is fully demonstrative of bias. Mr. Justice Maulvi Mushtaq Hussain, the then Chief Justice of the Lahore High Court, Lahore, was known to be biased against Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto due to being superseded. The entire legal fraternity and judicial community was aware of the temperament of Mr. Justice Maulvi Mushtaq Hussain, who never concealed his bias and hatred against Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. It will not be out of place to mention here that international community showed complete no confidence in the judgment in issue by defeating Mr. Justice Anwarul Haq for the slot of International Court of Justice, whereas Mr. Justice Durapate, one of the authors of dissenting judgment, was going to be elected unopposed, whose nomination had been withdrawn maliciously by the then caretaker government, who had come into power after toppling the democratically elected government of Mohtharma Benazir Bhutto Shaheed.
Who was the Prime Minister in this caretaker government?
I believe it was Mr. Ghulam Mustafa Jatoi.
Are you sure?
1990, if I'm not wrong.
Was there any application made to the Lahore High Court showing no confidence in the then Chief Justice?
The record reflects that several applications were made. 9. Admission of former Chief Justice of Pakistan, Mr. Justice retired Naseem Hassan Shah, on print and electronic media that the decision of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's appeal was under coercion does not leave any doubt in the mind of a sane and prudent person that it was a judicial murder which was decided and executed by dictator.
On what basis is this statement being made? Where is this admission?
My Lord, there were 2 interviews which were given by late Mr. Justice, retired Naseem Hassan Shah. One was, I believe, in 1996, but the other more recent one in 2009.
Have you filed the transcript of the interview?
My Lord, I have to file.
To whom?
It was given, it was a television interview which he had recorded, which he had given, and it was also reported in the press.
Which channel or which person?
My Lord, I will have to place it on record.
Mr. Farooq Naik, do you know?
Farooq Naik would have so, but I am aware that there was an interview.
Mr. Iftikhar of Geo News. Mr. Iftikhar of Geo News.
Iftikhar what?
Iftikhar Ahmed, I think so. Iftikhar Ahmed.
Iftikhar Ahmed. Is he still in Geo?
Jawab De program.
Huh?
Jawab De program.
Is he still in Geo News?
He's still, I think he's still there.
And which is the other interview?
Geo mein nahi hai, but he's still here. He's still here.
Which is the other interview? You said there are 2 interviews.
Yes. There was this rather old interview.
Yes, there was a second interview he had given to an unknown person, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि कहते हैं जो मार्शल लॉ लगता है तो हमें मार्शल लॉ वालों की बात सुननी पड़ती है.
One thing which you may want to start making a note of these things. We would want, we'll pass an order, but we'll want to have these, whatever.
We will give the videos as well as the transcripts.
Exactly.
We'll do that. Thank you, sir.
So just make a note of this.
Yes, I made a note of it.
Right. Did he mention that who has coerced him?
Pardon?
Did he mention that who has coerced him?
Who has coerced him? Yes. Well, he didn't. He just used the word martial authorities. Because the martial law, General Jaulak was in power, and it was all orchestrated